Hey Oklahoma 4-H, and welcome to the 4-H STEM Lab. I'm Alex, your scientist for the day, and I'm super excited to celebrate National Pie Day with you. You're probably thinking about the pie that comes out of the oven and it's either chocolate or pecan or maybe even cherry pie, but I'm actually talking about the mathematical term pie. On March 14th, all around the world, mathematicians and scientists actually celebrate Pi Day. So you're probably thinking, what exactly is pi? So pi is actually the measurement of the circumference of a circle, which is the measurement of the outside of the circle, divided by the diameter of the circle, which is directly across the circle. And another fun fact about pi is that it's the same in every circle. No matter how big the circle is or how small the circle is, it's always going to be the same. And pi is equivalent to 3.14. Now, you're probably thinking, why is pi even important? It's important because we can use pi to determine the circumference, the diameter, or the area of a circle. Most commonly, it is used to answer any questions about anything spherical or circular. And it's really handy when it comes to dealing with space exploration. And speaking of exploration, I've got a friend who's exploring a new recipe for a pie in the kitchen. Let's take a look.
Hi, Oklahoma 4-H. I'm Kathy Allen. I work at the Oklahoma State University State 4-H office in the area of healthy living. Well, the other day, my friend Alex, who's a scientist, she was telling me about, oh my gosh, Pi Day is coming up. And I was like, well, people who like to cook and like healthy living, they would like Pi Day. So I began thinking about pumpkin pie, and chocolate pie, and cherry pie, and pizza pie, all my favorite kinds of pie. And then Alex said, Kathy, Pi Day is March 14th. It's the day that mathematicians celebrate. So then I got thinking, well, you know what? How about if healthy living enthusiasts celebrate Pi Day too? So we're gonna be in the kitchen today making a pie. We're going to be making a pie that's a little healthier than you might have had in the past. And then we're going to send that pie over to our friend Alex, the scientist, and Alex is going to take the circumference and the diameter of the pie. So we're going to be merging healthy living and science. When we think about science, I sometimes think about people with a lab coat, maybe some goggles, and you know, they're in a lab and they're making stuff. But you know what? This is really a lab too. This is my kitchen and this is a lab. So if you think about, we've made bread in a bag here before. We put some ingredients in a plastic bag and some liquids, and it was bubbly, and then we allowed it to sit and more bubbles formed. We rolled it out, we put some more flour, it was a dough. We put it in the oven and it rose and it browned. There was science taking place. If we take ingredients such as milk and cream and we're making ice cream in a bag, we manipulate those ingredients and pretty soon we have ice cream. If we have popcorn kernels, we add oil, we add heat, we add agitation, shaking that or stirring that popcorn, and voila, we get popcorn. So while Alex might be doing science in a lab, we're going to be doing science right here. And then we're going to be merging those two. So let's get started with our healthy peanut butter pie. Pie is a wonderful thing that we all enjoy as Americans. There's lots of different kinds of pie. But one of the things about dessert is it's great to have a treat. There's no such thing as a bad food. We would just want to make this an occasional food. Maybe we have this to celebrate Pi Day, or maybe we make it for a birthday or a special treat, but we're not having a dessert with every meal. So this particular pie is going to be using vanilla Greek yogurt. It's going to be using peanut butter, and this is creamy peanut butter. We have 6 tablespoons of honey, and honey is going to be our natural sweetener. And then we have 1/4 cup of skim milk. I need to tell you, I didn't tell how much. The yogurt and the peanut butter are each 1.5 cups of yogurt and 1.5 cups of peanut butter. I also have a crust. I have chosen a chocolate crust. You could make your favorite kind of crust. You would want to pre-bake it. This is actually just a cookie crust, so this didn't require any baking. You could crush your own cookies and make your own crust. I chose to use a bought-in crust. So if you've had peanut butter pie before, you know that it has things like heavy cream and powdered sugar and lots of yumminess, but maybe things that aren't quite as healthy. So we're going to try to healthy this recipe up. So I'm going to start off by adding my 1.5 cups of vanilla Greek yogurt, and you can pick your favorite brand of yogurt. Okay. The next thing we'll add is 1.5 cups of peanut butter. So we'll add that to our vanilla yogurt. We're using a rubber spatula or rubber scraper to get all of the peanut butter out of our dish. And then if you recall, I said that we are using honey, and this is our natural sweetener. So we're not going to be adding any type of sugar, additional sugar than what is in our yogurt to this pie. Okay. And then finally, we're going to add 1/4 cup of skim milk. So we have all of our ingredients in our bowl, and you'll want to have a bowl that is large enough that you can easily whisk and stir, because that's going to be the next step that we're going to do. This is a whisk. It allows lots of air and ingredients to get through this. So this works really well for blending and whisking food together. So it's going to take a little bit. Probably the hardest part is getting that liquid milk mixed in with your peanut butter and your yogurt. And so just making a round and round motion. As you can see, I have a lot of peanut butter in here. So you will want to tap out some of your ingredients, and through the whisk, they're gonna come right out because of lots of open space, and then we're gonna go back in and begin whisking again. You have to be pretty aggressive with this. So as we talked about, like having science and STEM in the kitchen, we know that there are many physical and chemical reactions that take place whenever we are actively baking and combining ingredients or cooking on the stove. So anytime that we prepare any type of recipe or food in our kitchen, what's the first thing we should do? I bet you all know. Wash our hands for 20 seconds with soap and water, and then wipe down our work surface. It looks like I have this pretty well mixed together, but I'm gonna give it one good stir to make sure I got everything. Actually, I'm going to be using my rubber scraper just to make sure I get everything off of the bottom. You don't want to use an electric mixer on this because you do not want to overmix the yogurt mixture. It smells so good. If you would have a peanut butter allergy or a peanut allergy, obviously this would not be a recipe that you would want to make. Okay, looks like we got it all mixed together. So the next step is going to be to put this in our cookie crust. While it smells so good, we're going to have to wait 12 hours for it to chill in the refrigerator. So now I'm just going to scrape all of our peanut butter yogurt mixture into the chocolate cookie crust. You could easily use like a graham cracker crust. I just thought this might be a fun way. I personally love chocolate and peanut butter, so we get a little bit of cookie and also some peanut butter in there. Another way when we're in the kitchen and we are wanting to control the amount of sugar or calories that we're intaking, it's okay always to have a little taste, but maybe we would just split our pie into several portions instead of having one big piece of pie. I don't know if you've ever had yogurt in pie, but it is a great way to provide creaminess in your pie without adding heavy cream or an additional whipped topping. Okay. All right, our pie is ready. So now we just need to chill it for 12 hours. So I'll be back after 12 hours and we're gonna send the pie on over to Alex. Thanks everyone. The pie's been in the fridge for 12 hours. It's ready to serve, but now I'm gonna send it over to Alex.
Thanks, Kathy. Y'all, look at this pie. It looks amazing. And it smells good too. I'm so excited for us to actually take the circumference and diameter and find the pie of pie. So, all you need to do this at home after you bake a pie is you need some string, some scissors, and a ruler. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna find the pie of this pie. So what you need to do first is you need to take your string, and we're gonna go on the outside of the pie, remember, for the circumference. So we're gonna take our string and I'm gonna lay it on the outside of this pie. And we're gonna go all the way around. And when the strings are touching, I am going to cut it with my scissors. So to make sure my fingers are getting in this pie. Sorry, Kathy. So now we want to measure the diameter of the pie, which is exactly across the pie, going through the center. And I know earlier I mentioned the radius, and the radius is gonna just be half of the pie. So once you get it across the whole pie, you're gonna wanna cut it. So I have my circumference string here along with my diameter string. And remember how I told you the pie is 3.14? Well, if you take your circumference string and fold it into thirds like so, and you match it with your diameter string, you will notice that they match, hence pi. So that's how we determine pi of our pie. Thank you guys so much for joining us on our 4-H STEM Lab. We hope you had fun, and we hope that you learned a lot about pi and about the mathematical term of pi. Join us next month as we celebrate Earth Day by taking a trip around Oklahoma State University and find some awesome geocaches. If you want to know more about Oklahoma 4-H and about our STEM programming, please visit 4h.okstate.edu. And until next time, think like a proton and stay 4-H positive.